It's quite amusing seeing the media in damage control mode trying to say that there's no South African genocide and that everything, the expropriation of land is perfectly legitimate and no one's getting killed. Even though they are, even though they're getting tortured, even though you can't walk down the streets of Johannesburg because it's becoming like Zimbabwe. And the new leaders there in South Africa are like Mugabe. You know, everyone there is saying it. But of course Twitter and all the BBC News and everything, CNN puts forward, you know, these South African activists are saying that it's fine. Yeah, they're activists, are they? Are they black supremacists by any chance? Or is it just white people that just hate themselves? Because there is actually a white genocide going on in the West in general, in everywhere from Sweden, everywhere from Germany and France, for God's sake. Have you seen the latest video on Paris that Paul Joseph Watson posted? I think you have. I'm proud of Paul Joseph Watson for that video because I managed to stop my mum going to Paris. She was going to go. Showed her that video 10 minutes later. I don't want to go now and I won't. Brilliant, thank you. If only we could do the same for South Africa. Maybe if Cape Town and Johannesburg dried up from tourist money, like Paris will, like France will, then people will take it seriously. Maybe they'll start thinking actually that there is actually a proper problem with these countries and that Trump isn't just lying when he says, oh, we need to do something about South Africa. You know, because the media wants to make out that Trump's making it up. The media wants to make out there is no South African white genocide of white farmers. Except there is, and there's been documented evidence, and there's been films on the subject, and there's been people going there interviewing the people who are saying, you can't walk down the streets, you can't walk around without getting raped or attacked or whatever, you know, your children get burned in baths of boiling water. The evidence is there, okay? And the truth is now out. They wanted to keep a lid on it. They wanted to contain the South African genocide, but Trump kicked the lid off. And now there's flies and beetles and bugs everywhere and they can't contain it. They can't put the lid back on it. And they're pissed. And they're trying their damage control operations like they usually do. Trump is wrong because of this reason. South African, you know, activists think this. Oh. Can I have Twitter that isn't just complete cook news, please? Can I tailor my Twitter news so it isn't just for traitors and globalists? No, I can't, because Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Amazon, all these things are traitor globalist operations for people who just go along with it. But I'm calling it out. I'm saying that I don't want it anymore. I don't want to use these systems anymore. That's why I'm thinking about just abandoning YouTube completely and going to BitChute. Because I won't need to censor then. I won't need to worry about using hate speech if I say there is a white South African genocide of white farmers. They call it expropriation of land, taking their land, but they're actually killing them in practice. And if we get this message out to enough people and say, watch Farmlands by Lauren Southern, you know, that woman that was detained in this country as a terrorist under the terrorist legislation, but she wasn't actually then accused of being a terrorist, she was just being held under that legislation. So watch the film that that nice girl, Lauren Southern, made. They went to South Africa. Kaylin Robertson as well, you know, Tommy Robinson's ally. They went to South Africa, they did this film about the genocide going on right now, the problems in South Africa with the government, with the new regime, which the UN loves, which the media, the globalist media, all the propaganda loves. The BBC loves because it's the biggest agency engaging in our genocide of our history. Of white English history, because we're not allowed to have it now because everyone was black, weren't they, according to the BBC, even though they get complaints about putting videos like that out, and then they have to retract them because they're propagandists. So change the BBC. I'd just say eradicate it. Just eradicate it. We don't need these media, so-called media mafia things anymore. We've got phones, we've got BitChute, we've got YouTube for now. I don't know how long for. Why doesn't the left care about these giant monopolies? Why doesn't the left care about these companies, these corporations, which it traditionally has always cared about in the past? But now they're doing good, aren't they? Because they're censoring the far right and they're censoring people like Alex Jones who deserve to be censored because we're so liberal and we think everyone needs to be censored. That's the position now from Huffington Post, from The Guardian. You look at it and you see, why haven't these people been censored? Why haven't these people been censored? Hang on, weren't these outlets supposed to be anti-establishment? Weren't these outlets supposed to be left-wing? And wasn't left-wing supposed to be anti-corporate? Yes, it was. And Owen Jones is supposed to be anti-corporate as well, but he just goes along with it now. I like the way the BBC actually turned him down, though, and said to be a roving reporter, you actually have to go to places like Saudi Arabia. I'm prepared to fund a trip for Owen Jones to go to Saudi Arabia. Actually, I'm not prepared to fund it, but I think someone should be prepared to fund it, because he has to be able to go there and say, these people don't hate gay people, they're not going to kill me if I kiss this other man, except they will. And that's why he has to go there. Please!